Shalom and salutations, everybody. We are the Trophy Husbands.
You changed your intro because I made fun of you, didn't you?
Sorry. Not everything's about you, Luke.
He's done the Shalom and salutations before.
Really?
Yeah, he's done that before.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Well, I've said it like in person. I don't know if I said it for this.
Yeah.
But all right is not the only intro.
All right.
I mean, if you go back, this is episode now 23. If you go back and listen, I'd say probably at least 18 or 19 of them are.
All right. Yeah, they are. But they're not the only ones. But anyway, we're the Trophy Husbands.
All right.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Luke.
Steve.
And I am Nick. As I mentioned earlier, you were listening to episode 23.
So we
Because
figured...
no one likes you when you're 23 now, guys. So
Yeah, we figured out what was up with 22.
yeah.
We recorded it, and apparently...
Steve had been trying to record some stuff off of his records, and I didn't know, and I wouldn't have known how to fix the adjustments that he made anyway for the recording. So my bad.
Yeah, it sounded like, I was telling him, it sounded like a vocator just had sex with our recording. Like,
I think the other one you said, what was like a rejected transformer?
yeah, just got mad and fucked up the recording. Like,
I worked with it, but yeah, it just wasn't going.
Like, well, Soundwave is cooler than me, but they're Decibel! His younger brother that gets picked on.
But, alright, let's jump into it how we always do, guys. How was everybody's Friday?
Friday. Gotta get down on Friday.
Hey, party
Rebecca Black in
party,
Baltimore.
and hey, party and party.
Friday was a great night in Baltimore. Went down to the Franco residence and brought Greg along as well. We just did our normal thing. Went down. We did not go to the Rockwell. We were just like,
no diddler.
we were just like, Travis, we're not going to Rockwell. It's not happening. But guys,
No.
just 5 minutes. We didn't even go to Fells Point. And we left. That's right, because we went to one bar and it was packed as hell, and we just weren't really feeling it. And then so Travis was like, all right, should we go to Fells Point now? It's like, dude, we just go to another bar.
He's trying to push it.
Yeah, he's like, why would we get another Uber? But I actually met Tommy came out, and it was good catching up with him, and then pulled an accidental Sunrise Crew, which is atrocious as per usual.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we all just had a bad night because our friend Sam, he didn't even make it up to his bed. He passed out on the couch. So I guess it's a success.
A successful Friday night. I can say for myself, I quite literally did like Jack Squat Friday. Alex came down, and we got dinner, and I think like half of the crew was basically down in Baltimore or out with like other things out of town, and so I didn't hear from anyone, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I mean, Alex and I literally just chilled in entire Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing, nothing going on.
There's a geriatric couple. Do you play bingo too?
They play
like,
spades with other geriatric couples. They call up Will and Liz when they're not out.
Oh. You mean when they come out? Sometimes now. Which I'm gonna get flack from Liz about saying that.
Oh, whatever. I said it. I don't give a shit.
Like Wayne Brady says, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't give a fuck.
Accurate.
Well,
what about you? What did you do Friday?
Friday just hit up Merce, per usual.
Chilling and killing.
Yep, chilling, killing, grilling, all that good stuff.
They let you grill in Merce now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
your
they do.
little- They set you up with a bunch of different slices of nice steak. You got a fillet. You got a porterhouse.
Oh, that's nice.
Please, like Murph would spend money like that.
Well, at least it'd be filled with a different kind of smoke then.
It
Oh,
doesn't
man.
feel like the ashtray is
No,
fucking
that's
your
what it
throat
is.
now.
They have a smoker for you, but what it is, it's just a bunch of cigarettes burning.
Oh!
It's just
It's
like-
still that same smoke flavor, right?
Oh god.
It's not a smoker. It's a urinal.
Same difference.
It all works.
Oh, God.
You all feel really weird after using both of them. So.
So, you do anything then, Steve, Friday, or are you just chilling?
You saw what I did.
I don't remember.
It's the CD.
Oh, that's right. Steve, well, actually, this kind of goes into what happened on Saturday. I forgot, honestly. Steve went into, like, Master Chef mode because he was making himself
thought you were about to say Steve went into masturbate.
Masturbate mode.
Yeah.
No.
I wish.
Yeah, I wish it
No,
was.
Steve came. Steve
Stick
came
my
back to
dick
the
in
apartment
the
around like.
Hey man, you ever fuck a pan of ziti and eat it? That's how you claim dominance on food, man.
Well, Steve came back on Friday around like 5 or 5:30 and just went to work on making these 2 huge pans of pasta. One that he was gonna have for dinner for him and Mags that night, and then one that leads into Saturday here now. For Steve Stein was having a little bit of a party up at his place, and it was a smaller one. Like I think he had invited like 10 or 12 people, kind of thing. And so Steve had actually baked up this whole thing of baked ziti to take up there. And I'll just jump into my Saturday. Didn't do a whole lot on Saturday day, but then Saturday night went up to Harrisburg to Steve's place with Alex, and like I said, it's supposed to be like 10 or 12 people, but people started bailing out on it left and right, just being like, I had too hard of a Friday, like I couldn't make it. And so what it ended up being was myself, Steve Stein, Alex, and Steve and Maggie joined, and then they bounced out like after being there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. So it was just the 3 of us then just chilling, drinking, and eating the baked ziti that Steve so kindly brought up for everybody.
So how many severed heads did Steve have in his refrigerator?
Actually, besides the beer that I brought up and 2 6-packs that he had, the fridge was like empty.
Oh my
It had like
gosh.
a carton of eggs, and that was
That's
it.
because he put them in the freezer in the basement.
Exactly. All right,
Been in the
Norman.
basement. There's no freezer.
You weren't there when he bought it.
So that was my Saturday though. Like we chilled and we all got pretty good and toasted. Like
Yeah.
Steve Stein definitely did. It was weird. He had like a quick fall off. It was like he was going, and then Alex was saying it too. He had like 1 beer, and then he was just like done. He was done, and I was pretty good. I was like, all right, we'll just call it a night, and like we were done by like 1 or 1:30 kind of thing. And that was my Saturday night, and then I got a little bit for today. By the way, folks, we are recording on Sunday. But that was my Saturday, so how about the rest of you guys?
Well, my Saturday started with me walking back to Libby and John's at like 7? No, like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. First thing out of fucking Tom's mouth, I just said Libby and John's.
Yeah, I was gonna correct
Well,
you.
John basically.
I mean, he
says-
practically does live there. You would think it, but John
Yeah.
doesn't actually live there.
He doesn't. But first thing out of Tom's mouth, as soon as I see everybody, so I'm walking, and he's like, "So, get some last night?" I'm like,
Dude,
"The fuck? Like,
come on.
hello would suffice."
Yeah, I'm well. How are you? Good to see you.
And
You
he-
get some. You get that in.
Yeah, it's just like, so you get some, and I'm just like, how about my own fucking business? How about we play that game?
Yeah, that's my favorite game.
Yeah, I love that. I'm a pro at that, and you should be too.
You should learn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, that's so weird to me when people are like, so, like, what happened last night? And they're just like, well, let me give you the fucking specs of the pumps per minute that I even
Then
so.
we slowed it down, switched position. Like, I don't need this.
Yeah, even if it was.
So we all know what happened.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Yeah, like, what do you want to know?
What more do you need?
Huh.
PPM, pumps per minute.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But even so, even if something did happen, I'm not gonna be like, nah. But if nothing happened, then even so, like, what if I just went and hung out? Like, but as soon as they saw me, Tom's just like, got it in. Yeah, he did. And fucking John was the same way at the bar. He's just like, so what happened? I'm just like, I'm not fucking telling you. But that's the thing. Like, Tom was just like, yeah, like what happened? Yeah.
And John was just like, hey, you get
No. John was just like, so what happened last night? Like, I know you didn't come back, so what happened? And I'm just like, it's none of your fucking business. And he gives me like the firm nod. He's just like, don't kiss and tell. All right, I respect that. He takes a big swig
That
of
was
beer.
it.
That was it. Like, I was done. I was just like, I'm not gonna like,
respect.
yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for the graphic novel.
Oh god, no, stop it.
Down in Browntown, Volume 1.
Sounds like a poop story.
It's not. We've gone over this. Luke.
We have.
I know,
We
but
have.
yeah.
So anyway, that was your Saturday morning, or beginning of your Saturday morning.
We went out. We went out again.
Yeah, but
last
I
night.
didn't make it out till like super late because we just like recovery time was bad.
Yeah, I literally got home because Amanda dropped me home at like 11. I passed the fuck out. I slept till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Jesus.
Woke up and then started doing like just regular bullshit homework, like busy work that professors assign, all that good shit.
Yeah.
But and then went back out again, and yeah, that's when like John was just like, so what happened? And then like Sam, fucking Sam, alright. So there was this girl, and she was taller, and he's just like, look at that girl over there. Doesn't she have a nice ass? And I'm like, which one? So he points to this girl, and he's just like, that one in the jean shorts. And I'm like, she doesn't have an ass. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, like she was a very good looking girl.
But
Nope.
it's like flat.
The butt just wasn't there.
No.
It's not a bad thing.
Maybe she traded butt for personality. You never know.
They do that now? Like, you can trade in, like, I'm sorry, I don't have a personality, but I've got this great butt, can I swap?
It's like my ex. That's why she has a huge ass, probably. She has a shitty personality. Sorry.
Whoa.
Shady in the trophy husbands today, but carry on.
How do you feel
shade.
for real? Tell me how you really feel. But no, he was trying to like he was just like, well, she's taller, so like
It's
maybe
stretched out.
Yeah. And I'm literally having an aneurysm. Like I'm screaming.
That's not how this works.
This is not how that works.
That's not how any of this works.
And it was funny because it's him and me on one side, and it's Libby and Ben, and I'm trying to explain. I'm just like, no, that's not. But he's just like, but he's tight, and I literally fucking like, I was so agitated because I'm just like, that's not how butts work. Like I was literally like I was so intense. Like I had
like,
stock
no.
into this. It's like, that's not how this fucking works. Like top of my lungs, literally.
That's not how butts work. That's not how any of this works.
And he's just like, I was just like, you know, you can make a butt. Like you can. That's when.
Yeah, and then he's like, no, you can't. It's like, squats? Have you never heard
I
of
was
squats?
Like, squat day is a thing for real.
Have you never heard Sir Mix-a-Lot?
Yeah.
And then the when you're talking about like, well, she's taller, so like, have you ever seen a tall girl with an ass? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Girls who do squats.
Yes. I'm trying to. I was just.
Luke's
so
just
drunk.
like, I'm taller and I have a butt.
No, I don't squat. No. Mm-mm.
I was just like mentally tapped out. I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I'm done with this.
Well, it's like, you know, it's like Sam and Tom when they get their mind set on something.
Oh, yeah,
they're just gonna dart with it until it's running through the ground.
It was
That's
not only
true.
ran into the ground, it was on fire. And
Burning in a pit.
yeah, like he was trying to throw that motherfucker in the Lazarus pit to bring it back. And I was like, no, this is not.
Bring an
like,
edge to this.
Like I was just like, she had to be like 22 at best, and I was just like, she didn't have fucking ass when Reagan was in office, and she wasn't alive then. So like, leave it the fuck alone. Like Christ in a handbag. Like
Yeah.
no.
She's just growing into it.
Yeah.
Maybe she just got some really loose-fitting jeans.
They were jean shorts. They were like booty jean shorts.
Booty
Minus the
jean
booty.
shorts with no booty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she was cute. She was very cute. But homegirl had no backside. Like, let's call a spade a
Baby
spade
don't
here.
got back.
No.
No.
She had some front, but she ain't had no back. So I don't know. But I think Sam was he's just like, she's cute. She has a butt. And I'm just like, no, she doesn't.
No.
He was fixated on the idea. I'm just like, you don't know shit about butts. There's a joke in there somewhere, and I'm not gonna make it.
I see an infomercial for her butt genie instead of.
Fucking butt genie.
Trademark copyright trophy husbands.
Yeah. Butt genie to go along with the inner selfie stick.
Yes. Or our whole line of clothes that we're gonna be making.
Flop.
The flop.
The flop.
Wait, we're making merch now?
Oh, you missed the whole thing last
yeah,
week.
clearly.
Yeah.
But
Go back and listen to the Decibel episode.
Yeah.
But then, Steve, you went to Hershey Park, right?
Did you?
Why do you look like a fucking
Yes.
Bond villain?
Yeah.
I think he's
Had
upset because I
stroke.
made him recoil back into the tent of heat.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he got to ride some of the rides that I've been telling about last time, like the Sky Rush and that kind of stuff.
It was fun. They were roller coasters.
I love
I mean-
roller coasters. They're my favorite.
Yeah. Well, they all actually, most of the roller coasters just started to blend in and seem the same. So.
Well, that's why I always like the ones that are a little bit different. Like Sky Rush for me, when I first went on it, like that was a little bit different in comparison. But then, if you take Great Bear
is super boring.
Great Bear is just really generic now. Like half the
I
rides.
remember when that first came out.
Oh my God, it was
the-
amazing.
It was the big, totally fucking like new one.
Yeah, it was
Right.
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
but I
and
mean,
then-
like, so many rides nowadays are just kind of a generic Great Bear. Like, essentially, if you're at Six Flags, like we were talking about 2 or 3 episodes ago when Steve and I were there, and the Superman that rotates you, like, that's what makes it different. Like, that's
Wait.
the only thing that makes Superman different is that you're facing the ground. Otherwise, it's
Where-
literally the Great Bear.
Which Six Flags is that?
In Jersey.
Oh, because they're the Six Flags down in can't remember, in Ship Park, Maryland. No, that's
Favorite
tons
part,
of
yeah.
gang violence.
I was
Like,
about to say, so
but
just like.
they have the Batwing that does the same thing. It just flips you over, so you're like floating above the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
they have that as the Superman at Six
Right,
Flags,
right.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
I will say Six Flags is a very dirty looking park.
that's true. In comparison to Hershey,
Mhm.
Everything's faded, and it looks like
It
it
just
looks
looks
like no one's
old.
been no one's been working on this for weeks.
It's the old grizzled pet.
Past regulations.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, remember that? Let's go back to the Superman ride. I know we probably already discussed this already, but it's like all stuff from
it was
the 90s.
yeah,
and
all the
early
posters and everything. 'Cause
Yeah.
they had like character posters, basically explaining almost
Which
Superman's whole cast, and all of it was the '90s Superman. Like, and I know Superman. I've read the comics back in the '90s, as I do now. But like, it was all like their characterizations in the '90s, and I'm pretty sure the Superman that they were even showing was mullet Superman from the '90s.
Like sweet mullet, bro.
Yeah. Right after he got resurrected, they're just like, let's give Superman a mullet. That's gonna make him hardcore and edgy.
Just like Joe Dirt. you know?
Exactly.
They're both pretty cool.
Stick your head up your ass and fight for air. But another thing we were talking about Atlanta last night.
Right.
Oh my god.
Donald Glover's new show, Atlanta,
Yes.
is fucking fire.
So phenomenal. Such a good show. Because not
That
only
show is on fire.
truth. Sing it.
I still haven't gotten a chance
It's
to
a
watch it. I know
special,
both
it's
of
a
you guys
show.
are
It's
raging.
a show. It's
It's
a
a show.
new TV series it's on FX.
Yeah, it's on FX.
I know you both were raging about it. I haven't gotten to check it out yet.
It's so good.
Mhm.
You have to. But it's very like dry humor. Like
It's very subtle, quick.
So probably
but it's
kind
not
of right up our boat.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's more of it's a dramedy, but then just these little quips like
Mhm.
Donald. You know how creative Donald
Oh yeah,
Glover is.
absolutely.
And then even like the two other main guys in the show are fantastic as well.
Paper boy, all about that paper boy.
It's like, oh, so you paper boy.
But no, just like it was very funny, but then it also touched on just a bunch of different like social topics.
Right.
Like in the show he has a baby, probably about I'd say one and a half,
Yeah.
and like him is like
His baby mama.
his baby mama's
They're like-
girlfriend. They're like
they're-
on to get off again.
Right. They're best friends essentially, but they live together. But she's seeing other people.
And like it's him like working this like
Just
shitty
this dead end job.
dead end job trying to figure it out, and his cousin becomes a rapper and starts like blowing up locally.
Mhm.
So he goes to try and get involved. But then also it touched on mental health, and it touched on the spectrum the spectrum of sexuality and just like
Jesus,
the
sounds like a
prison
whole lot of
system.
topics to cover in just one episode.
Yeah,
or
well,
even
that's
touch
something they
on.
touch on him real quick, and it's like Donald Glover, like his character.
It's kind of like, here's a taste. We're gonna explore
Right.
this more.
Yeah. Like his character, he's a Princeton dropout,
Mhm.
and they haven't said why or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think like we were saying this last night, it's alluding to he's got some mental health issues.
Yeah, that's
and had-
what like I read it online that somebody kind of had a fan theory that like his main character had mental health issues or like an episode of some sort, and that's why, because there's one part where like his character got accepted to Princeton,
Right.
and so like his dad and his cousin are talking about it because his cousin's the one that he wants to get involved with since he's starting to do the stuff that he wants to do and get involved with, and he's just like, what happened to Princeton? He's just like, I don't know.
It's like you have a better chance of finding out than I would.
Yeah, but it was extremely well done. It was funny as shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was I'm excited.
The best was well, so it's just like the scene with I'm going on a date. Like, ooh, mommy's going out with some corny dude. What's this? Oh no, this is a great environment for you.
Yeah, his like girlfriend / baby mama is just like, I'll be back at 11, and he's just like, that's pretty late. You taking your parents out? And he starts like naming all this. He's like, are you taking them to Cheetahs? Because Folly's a much better club. And from what I've read, it's very true to
the
Atlanta.
area.
Yeah. Like I remember
people have been saying like it captures the atmosphere pretty close. Yeah.
Like I remember listening to when he put out the Stone Mountain Kauai tape /EP, and he mentioned a bunch of different spots, but they also showed up in the show. But the tape was like a year or two ago, so it was kind of like Stone Mountain is in Atlanta, so he was talking about different parts of Atlanta and kind of like going back and like rapping over old beats and just kind of like having fun with it. But then it was also like one of those things like he mentioned JR Crickets and they went to JR Crickets to get wings, and then he was talking about 5 Points and the old dude was talking about how he was catching the bus from 5 Points, and he mentioned Cheetahs and he mentioned Follies.
And all these actual
going back.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was from what I've read and what I've looked up, it was actually very good. And Luke was saying that it kind of reminded him of the Heartbeat video.
Right. There's a music video with Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is he starts out. He picks up a girl. She gets in the backseat, and they're like just kind of driving through what looks like it's probably Atlanta, and it's kind of cinematography that matches what the show is. I never heard the theory that you said about how because they then he pulls over something in the music in the back. They get in the back seat and they start like messing around a bit.
Yeah.
And then just midway she just stops and then she starts driving. It's like you're saying it's like the metaphor of whoever's driving is in control of the relationship.
Exactly. So it's kind of like he picks her up. He's the aggressor, and then it's just them making out in the back seat. But that's kind of like the
switch over.
Yeah, that's the switch over. That's kind of like
where
the
she gains the power.
Exactly, that's the illusion to like sexual interaction, and then she drives the car, and then eventually it just turns to like she drops him off. Like that's it. But I looked at the plates on the car and it was in California, so it might be in Cali.
I was maybe not necessarily the setting, but more
like
the cinematography.
It is very similar. Like
very cool.
Yeah, it's very awesome. And I was telling him just another video in general is Telegraph Ave. That is a mindfuck if you have not seen it. Also by Childish Gambino.
Yeah, I still need to watch that.
That's awesome. Same with Sweatpants.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen Sweatpants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So watch Atlanta, everybody. It's dope.
So I actually wanted to turn this over then to what I was doing today. I got the first time I've ever done this. Alex and I actually stayed at Steve's place last night just because it is closer to where we're going. I went to a Renaissance fair for the first time.
Nice.
And that was pretty.
The future, man.
That was pretty wild. Like it was cool. Like I don't know. It's the first time I ever went to one, and I mean, you see a whole bunch of the people in costumes and all that kind of stuff. People around, and I mean, one of the best things is you can just get a gigantic turkey leg walking around. Which is what I did. I just grabbed his turkey. I'm like, just walking around watching stuff. I think the best part though was the little performances that they had people doing. Like we happened to walk in when the king was just supposedly getting to the Shire and everything, and like they were doing like this grand introduction, and everyone's like, my liege, my lord, and blah 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 blah, and that kind of thing. And then the king was actually walking around like the park the entire day, but he kept on stopping in these certain arenas at certain times and doing performances. Basically, like there was a jousting match where they had people going and jousting, and he showed up right as the match is about to begin, and he's just like, "Hey, we'll be jousting. This will be great." And then at one point, because of this was the cool thing, is like they kept on interconnecting all of the events that were happening. like in the very beginning one where he gets introduced, a guy insults him and it insults his intelligence. So they're like, okay, well, we have peons to our disposal. We're gonna have a human chess battle later on today.
Huh.
And so they have a human chess battle where they have like a gigantic grass chessboard, and they have people, and like you had seen these guys, like the knights that were on the chessboard, you had seen in the jousting, and they were actually going to come back and joust later on for other reasons. And then, so during the chess match, then it'd be like, at one point they had the guy that insulted the king and the king, and they sent their knights after each other, and the knights were the knights that were jousting. And so then the entire field clears, and they start fighting. Like, they bring out their swords and their shields, and they just start going at, like, actual fighting wise. And then the one beats the guy, and then like does something very unchivalrous and like breaks his arm or something afterwards, after he like gives up. But then they go back out onto the chess match. Everyone runs back out, and they're like, all right, my pawn to b2 kind of thing. And then, like, if another match happens up, then the entire field clears and they start going at it again. And then it was kind of cool because at one point the king got into a battle with the guy that he was fighting with. Like, the king actually came out and he's like, all right, let's do this, like threw down his robe. And then because of that, though, the one knight got injured, and they're like, well, we're supposed to have this jousting match later. And the king's like, I got this. I'll be in the jousting match. And I was like, it was supposed to happen at 6. I was kind of like, I kind of want to stay and watch that. Like, I'm like, podcasting or watching the King. Like, I don't know. It was really cool though. I liked how they were all interconnecting everything, and then in between, there's a whole ton of different stuff going on. Like, anyone who's happened to be following me on Snapchat would have seen. There's like this circus at one point, this mini circus of these two people and everything, but they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. I've Snapchatted a guy tossing up, juggling flaming sticks while balancing like 3 more flaming sticks on his head, kind of thing. Like, it's pretty wild stuff. I was like, not bad. And I mean, the best part is that we got the tickets for free, so you can't beat that.
Free
Can't
shit
beat
is
free
the best
shit.
Exactly.
So that's the type of party I'd want to go to. That's like, Steve and I were talking about the Get Down. If anybody, there was one scene where they go to this party, and Steve and I were just like, we don't care that it's like a bunch of drag queens. We'd love to go to that party. It was awesome looking.
Why not?
But no, the Get Down is actually a very phenomenal show as well. If you guys, we talked about Dope before. The guy, the main character from that, is one of the main leads in there as well.
Oh, okay.
And it's set in like the late 70s, early 80s with all the graffiti writers
Right.
and like all the b-boys and all that stuff.
Where
Who's
you
the
know
guy
where?
from Dope?
Yeah, he was the guy from Dope.
Yeah.
Oh, Shaolin Fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah, same guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shamik Moore, I think that's his name.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's all about just like a bunch of kids from New York decide to like make a rap crew and a DJ crew, and just all the stuff that happened. It's very well done, and like you can tell like they put a lot of thought into this. It wasn't just like, oh, well, let's make this really cool DJ show.
It's rap.
Yeah, rap. But no, it was really well done. And Steve and I were talking about that the other weekend, and I mean, definitely like just check it out. It's fucking fantastic.
It's Shaolin Fantastic.
Shaolin Fantastic.
Wow.
His red Pumas are never dirty.
So-
They are
Steve.
never dirty. Nor is his jacket or his mesh top.
Nope. Always gotta ride clean in your OJ.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but yeah, that's another one that it talked about like like in the, I think it was the early 80s, like pretty much the Bronx got fucked up because a lot of people with money came in.
Before
like,
Giuliani came in.
Yeah, like they got fucked
Iron
up
Fist,
and put like, I think they built a bridge like right through the middle of it and just like displaced a bunch of people and all the housing projects and all that kind of shit. So it talks about that and talks about like it captures the whole area and the whole feeling very well. Like they did a very, very good job.
Nice.
I dig it.
Can you dig it?
That's another movie.
Oh
that,
my god.
did you-
I watched that the other day. It happened to be on,
Yeah.
it was like Sundance or Independent Film Channel or something like that. And I was like, oh my god.
It's a good
Warriors is a just
fucking phenomenal.
I heard they're actually they're doing a remake of it. They're trying to do like an updated remake of it.
You see, that's just it. I don't know if you can do an updated version of that though.
You have to base it in the 70s.
Exactly, because with today's technology and all this kind of
Yeah,
stuff,
awesome.
like, oh no, we're trapped here. Somebody just ring up an Uber for us, please.
Exactly.
Like,
Or what if it was one of those situations? Because remember, there's been a couple times where big cities like that, they lose power.
yes,
Right.
yes.
So even if you did get an Uber,
I don't
You
know.
don't know where the Uber driver could be an enemy. Like
Yeah.
it could still happen.
All I'm gonna say is that if they're gonna remake it, and if they're remaking it with a modern update to it, they are going to have to tweak some things.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
of course.
absolutely.
That was the other thing about the Get Down, though. It almost felt like the Warriors too. That almost felt like a sequel to the Warriors.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like back then, it was like you'd had DJ crews, and I remember you were saying like you didn't. You found
Yeah.
out that like the DJs that they were talking about were actual people, which they were. Like they talked about Cool Herc, and they talked about Grandmaster Flash, and it was almost like it was like a subculture, but it was like you had you had battles between like full neighborhoods. Like it could be Nick could be the best DJ in his neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
And I'm the best DJ in my neighborhood.
Oh hell no.
And then exactly, you have the clash, and everybody like brings their sound systems out, and they'll have like b-boy battles in the park, and it'll be like sun up to sundown event. But it was like,
That's it. We doing this, Marcus.
but that's the thing. That was also very much a part of the culture as well. Like you had dudes like rocking the fucking patches, and they were known. Like you don't go over there unless you have shit to do because there were gangs and shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it does have a very similar feel, but it's also because like the time period was also very much like that.
And that record that never broke.
Yeah. I know. You were so furious. You're like, the show was fantastic, but the only thing that I did not like was the fucking record didn't break.
So they have this record in the show. They just keep throwing it. Like the first time.
just like
The first time it was Shallon Fantastic. I'm just gonna spoil this part. Shallon Fantastic.
Spoilers, blah, blah, blah.
Just
Just kidding.
Is jumping over a building, makes the jump, but like barely. Drops the record, and you have the main character. I can't remember the
Books.
main character. Books
Ezekiel
catches
Books.
it, but
Good one.
I think it falls on the ground actually before he even grabs it.
Yeah.
So even there it would have broken. And then later on, Books takes it to the club.
Yeah.
and then-
Les Inferno.
The bouncer throws it across the street. It lands on its side. He pulls it out, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that would have been broken.
But Steve was so adamant. He's just like, the show was fantastic. I loved every second of it. But the fucking record didn't break.
I mean, sometimes, there's just those little things that just pull you right out of it. You're like, man.
Yeah. Steve, you did not believe the crown. You just didn't.
That had nothing to do with not believing. That everything to do with not believing in physics
Well,
or gravity.
It's a show.
It destroyed the illusion.
It's like,
Well, it's like the other morning we were watching what was the original Star Trek series.
Nice,
And
nice,
so-
because they just celebrated their 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And so shows, of course, back then didn't have as well as showrunners. So obviously you have horrible like stage fighting.
Oh my god,
And
The fucking dude like the lizards.
Yeah, that's the episode we were watching. I watched that entire scene.
No, the best is always just watching Kirk Shatner do the double fist where like
Right.
just like
He
holds
just,
like
fists and
bam.
it's not even like there's no finesse to it. He's just like
exactly.
And then-
Double axe handle.
and then there's
Exactly.
like the lizard comes at him and they like literally are hugging and just like and just like twisting back and forth. And then Kirk escapes. And then so he looks up on a mountain, and he sees where the lizard guy is just chilling doing something. And he looks up on his mountain and there's a boulder just very conveniently placed
on the top.
right on top, like right above
Yeah.
where the lizard's standing. So he climbs up there and right when he pushes it, the lizard looks up and sees it. He's staring at the boulder the entire way down as it comes and smashes him. It's like, oh my goodness.
Well, you see, anytime I see that episode, I always instantly just go back and think of Flash Gordon, because in the movie there's this one terrible scene where like they were trying to show like you're trapped on here, you can't get out, and they have this lizard man that I think they literally just called Lizard Man, trying to run away. Like, it's a very short cut scene, but he's trying to escape, and you just hear over the intercom, "Where do you think you're going, Lizard Man?" And all it is that he just turns around and goes, "Eh!" And then like this laser just comes and completely evaporates him.
Oh my goodness.
It was so bad, but yeah, I mean, when Steve and I and a couple of our other friends watched it for the first time, we were dying laughing at that. Like, it is just so bad.
That's like certain movies you go back and you watch because you were young and you're just like, this movie's awesome, yeah, and then you watch it and you're just like,
this is garbage.
This is a cinematic cesspool. Hey, the fucking Mortal Kombat movie.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, like they tried so hard.
They did,
and they just couldn't.
Couldn't pull it together.
Like we said before, there's just so much that goes into video games that it's hard to make a movie out of it.
Right. Yeah, we were discussing that last week with Eric.
I think the only thing you can go back, and I don't know if you guys have ever watched Twilight Zone, but the only thing
Yeah.
the only thing you can go back to watch Twilight Zone is that you could just suspend disbelief on that show, and it's great. It's just
I think Twilight Zone, like even the original ones, they still hold up pretty darn well for the most part.
yeah, it's good. I think they're decent special effects for the time.
For the time, yeah. I mean, even like the old school black and white ones. I mean, yeah, when you see something blown up or something, like the one episode where the guy like becomes like the last man on Earth and just wants to read and all that stuff. If you guys have ever seen that one, like I remember seeing where like they showed like stuff blown up and like the carnage afterwards, and yeah, it looks like everything's made out of cardboard, probably because it was. But at the same time, like again, like a little suspension of disbelief. Like, all right, this still works. It doesn't quite work the same in the Mortal Kombat movie. Like, I'm suspending my disbelief as far as I can, and I still can't do it.
He's got the ice force field, and the Kang finds the
Did they
water.
make a second one?
Yeah,
they made
did.
like 2 or 3.
No, there was Mortal Kombat, and then there was Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah.
And then there was like the cartoon, which was like PG, so it sucked.
Of course it sucked.
And then
Cartoon. Who makes a cartoon?
and then they made like a live action series, and I think they might have like gone back and made like one that was more so for adults, but it was animated.
Oh no, have you ever seen it on YouTube? There's one, this isn't Mortal Kombat, but they use Street Fighter characters, and it's like Street Fighter characters in high school, and it's a live action thing.
Yes, I've seen that one.
That is hilarious.
That is very good. I've seen that one. There's also one where it's the 2D sprites, and somebody went and did Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, and that was really well done, even though it was just like the little 2D guys.
Mm-hmm.
But that was very good. And then there was, I think, I can't remember how to say the channel's name, but I think it was like Mishima or Machina or something like that.
Yeah.
They did like a Mortal Kombat mini-series, and that was
They
was
did,
pretty
that's
good.
right. That's a couple years
And
ago.
then apparently there was a fan-made Street Fighter like mini-series as well, and I heard that was really good as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
like Mortal Kombat's like would be the hardest show to do for a series because there's so much like diverse characters that look like just different kind of visual effects necessary to do so, and that just gets more expensive.
not to mention it's like so much lore, and they keep resetting it, so there's so many cannons and all that type of shit.
Exactly.
I think, to me, if they made it like the original, like they took it down to Mortal Kombat 1, and then maybe stuck with like 2 or 3 characters, because if you think about it, even the original roster had like 8 characters?
8 characters, I believe it was.
Yeah, so that's still a lot going on,
Right,
and then you think about it, like now it's up to like 50, 60 characters.
Oh yeah, well that's any fighter game nowadays. Like it's just
yeah.
crazy how many they have.
But Street Fighter has a cartoon, and that cartoon's very well done, but it's kind of like, it's very focused on, I believe it's Ryu and how he kind of goes through and interacts with all the other characters.
It's just like it's from his perspective as opposed to trying to bounce between different plot lines. And shit.
Yeah, but it also like goes into like Alpha and EX and all that, and it shows like the other like the off-brand, not necessarily off-brand, but the
offshoots.
The offshoots and the characters that were popular for this one and that one. So it does it very well though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, I wanted to bring up something earlier. I don't have the article in hand, but I thought it was an interesting read because it was an article, I don't remember the exact title, but somewhere along the line of like the U.S. is split when it comes to creativity, like an artistic creativity in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And now,
What do you mean? Like, are you talking about like the views
like
of arts?
geographically split?
Oh, gotcha.
And they start out with like traditionally the idea has always been that like if you're on the coast, like the East Coast, West Coast, either coast, but like
On the coast.
bigger city center areas, because like you don't have like as big of cities. More you go inward and whatnot.
Exactly.
That those tend to be the hubs of creativity and that kind of thing. Like,
Okay.
but what it actually showed, and this was really interesting because how they did it is like they were polling people, and it was like they had it where people were like there is like a dark red and then like a lighter red and then like down to like a pink and then like a lighter pink and then like a white or something like that, which represented how much of the population, which I think it went up to like 70%, said that they either worked in or pursued in some way, shape, or form some kind of artistic creative outlet. And what it was though is that it wasn't a split of coast, it was a split of north and south. Basically, after about halfway through Maryland, it just like the creativity kind of thing, and then like this goes across the entire country, almost like it's almost like a straight line. It's kind of creepy. Like just drops drastically, like huge downfalls. And I thought that was interesting to read because
Well, I'm thinking right now because like I could see it on one hand because you have New York City, it's more north, and that's a big, obviously big.
sure, it's a big hub.
But then you've got L.A., which is down in Southern California, like probably the next biggest creative hub as well. I don't know. It seems like
it seems kind of counterintuitive, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But no, that's how this map was portraying it, and I was just like, that's kind of interesting, just because we are in Pennsylvania, we're kind of actually close to like where that line was for like the big drop, but yet, and maybe it's just like people bring each other together, but I'm just like, half of my friends, at least in some way, shape, or form, are creative and try to put out something one way or another. I mean, like, I don't know how exactly artistically creative you can even say the podcast is, but at the same point, it's some kind
an endeavor.
Yeah, it's some kind of outlet to a degree. But then, I mean, the rest of us, like Marcus and I, have talked about how we write and kind of stuff, and Luke acts, and Steve does a whole lot of like the artistic stuff when it comes to the editing and those kind of purposes. And I'm just like, it's kind of interesting. Just like, I just thought it was weird. I just thought it was a bizarre thing where it was such a drastic drop off. And they said that in part of it was probably because they're still like, kind of goes back to even 1800s, like Civil War kind of thing, like the rich North and the poor South.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like, well, obviously, when you have less money, you don't have a whole lot of room to think, like, oh, I'm going to be creative, when you're thinking, oh, how am I going to get dinner on the table?
Exactly. Like, and yeah, that's one of the things we kind of struggle with just as people in general, because there's this one rapper, Logic, from Maryland, and he had this album called The Incredible True Story, and one of the like outros was talking about, it was an old thing about like how we all want to be writers and we want to be poets and we want to do all this stuff, but people are afraid to do that because frankly shit doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you have to, as much as it sucks, like we all love doing that stuff, but
if you're not doing anything noteworthy, then it's hard to get by. And
that's kind of one of the things, like with being a creative, like you said, we all love to do stuff. We all are very creative. We're all very good as far as thinking, but
we all have bills too.
Man, I wish I was a Hilton. This should be awesome. I was just like, do I want to make an album? Hell yeah, I'm gonna make an album.
Exactly. It's just like, yeah, this would be great.
It's like my agent calls me up, is like, hey, you want to be in this show? I'm like, sure, fine, done. Got a job.
We and that's the thing, which sucks because, I'm pretty sure you went and you did theater, but you have people that are just like, why would you do that? Like, why don't you go work in medical, or why don't you do that? And it sucks.
Why don't you do something with your life?
Yeah, because it's like the whole frowning upon creative people. But like, let's say, if you frown upon the creative types, if you went to school for like an arts degree or something, well then stop watching TV, stop listening to music, don't go to the movies, because that's all like they're no entertainment for you because
Yeah.
those are those people that did that.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I like sometimes just internally like I struggle with. Like I love being a creative, but I'm just like sometimes I wish I was just good at nursing because nursing, or I was good at engineering because like that type of shit is like very lucrative as opposed to me being able to sit down and just be like, all right, I can think of a really cool idea for a screenplay. And I could toss it to Luke, or I could like sit down and like, you know, write my ass off. I know it's gonna get, you know, I can throw it to a literary mag for school or this or that, but it's not going to make me money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of fortunate in that aspect that I can decently write, and then I also have my computer skills.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm kind of like, I'll do the writing thing on the side, and you know, maybe something happens, maybe nothing does, whatever. It's still an outlet for me, and then I'm like, but I can still pay my bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like another thing, like computers. I'm just like I know my way around them, but I'm not like Nick or Steve with their advanced Tony Starkness.
Hardly on that level. I wish, but
It's
yeah.
like Steve Jobs said, like when it comes to computers, like no one cares how it works, just as long as
As it works, yeah.
But that's
It does,
anything.
yeah.
Like look at a mechanic. Why do you think mechanics make fucking boatloads of money? Same with plumbers. Same with carpenters. Like
That's true. Well, it's also kind of that those are more of the, I don't want to, like, almost dying out jobs to a degree,
Yeah.
because, like, I feel like there's probably less and less of them, but at the same time, those are kind of...
You're always going to need a mechanic.
No, I absolutely agree. That's
but what
I'm saying,
he's saying is like
you need
people,
them, but less people are doing
There are
it.
less
Yes.
people who are going to pursue that.
Because, and I think a huge part of that, at least for our generation, is because there's been that big push of you have to go to college, as opposed to like, oh, go to a 2-year vocational school where you can learn this entire life trade and go.
And that's another thing that kind of sucks for this rigmarole / go around generation is our parents and our grandparents and our aunts and our uncles is just like, yeah, go to college, you'll get a job, because
That simple. It was
yeah,
that
back
simple.
in the
it
day.
really was for
and
them.
and that cheap, and it was cheap to do.
It was cheap to do. Like you like they could like a semester at a decent school was like $2,000 for them. As
Not
opposed,
even.
Yeah.
I remember my great aunt when she went to
Here we go. I found it. I found the
Western
map.
Maryland College, but then now in McDade. But I digress.
Sorry.
So it's
What's
one
the
semester
website?
was like $387. She showed
it's
me
the
like a
Washington
receipt
Post.
for it, like full-time
Fuck.
semester. Like
Like that's a book now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that is give credit where credit is due. Is from the Washington Post, people. I had to Google it and find it, but yeah, like it's an interesting divide. Like, and if you see, it's saying like the percentage of people, and it's all dark, and then it just kind of starts going down.
It's a really quick drop off. It says create artworks. Does that encompass all forms of art?
Basically, any kind of art. Like
Okay.
if you're a carver, or if you're a writer, if you're an actor, or you play a musical
Right, so you
instrument, and like
just-
anything that you
yeah.
can consider artist.
Okay, gotcha. So the title said artwork, so I wasn't sure if there's
I was
something
gonna
like
say, and
fine
then
art,
like if you look
but
at the
yeah, it's-
cities that have that are heavily populated, they all have really big cities that are well known.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, but like,
For the LA thing.
not even just
Well, there's
but,
just so many
not
people.
reading the
You
point.
gotta think. There's so many people in LA.
Mhm.
The movie industry makes up a small.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably like a
Yeah,
small
true.
pocket,
Right.
but that's
'Cause
like,
even New York isn't like a very dense area for that.
No, but a lot of like kind of like how Hollywood is for movies, New York is for record deals.
Right. Okay.
That's very true.
Yeah, and I find it interesting. I'll have to send you guys this interview. I almost did, but this one rapper, Vince Staples from California, he was talking about how he wanted to do this program for kids because just kind of show them like while you may not be the star, there are other jobs that you can do in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
industry. Like you could be an A&R, or you could be a songwriter, which I would fucking love.
Oh yeah.
I would absolutely love.
It was like I was listening to the radio the other day. The girl who the song Monster, Eminem, Rihanna.
Yeah,
The girl who wrote the song. Neither Rihanna nor Eminem wrote his rap, of course.
Yeah.
But the girl, can't remember her name, but she wrote the chorus for that song.
Mm-hmm.
And originally she wanted to sell it so she could perform with Eminem with it, but
the studio or the company wasn't having it. They're like,
They shut
well,
it down.
yeah, they're like, we
need somebody bigger.
It's like we need somebody bigger. It's like if you're gonna do it, we're not gonna pay you anything. Like we'll pay you for the rights, but
I'm curious as to why in Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, all these places, why is it so?
Probably because their populations are so little.
yeah, there's
That like you have the handful of people that are creative and that can kind of like balance it out.
maybe.
Because I mean, relatively speaking, for the expanse of amount of land that those places have, it's so little population.
And this is from like 24. This map itself is from 2014.
Yes. Yes.
So this could be.
The article is from this past week, but yes, the map is from 2014. So who knows? Maybe it's changed. I'm sure. Well, there's no maybe. I'm sure it has.
I don't think in 2 years it wouldn't change that much.
Probably
It's
not that much, but
gonna
at the
be-
same point, though, because if you look, though, you can see that literally, like, once you hit Pennsylvania, like, it just starts getting lighter and lighter down below. Like, I'm like, that's interesting. We kind of, like, hit that line right there, guys,
Yeah.
considering we're only 20 miles away from Maryland as it is, and that's one of the paler ones, and I don't know, when I saw that article, I was like, that's an interesting thing.
Well, this could be like
Alaska's like, hey, we're really creative.
I laughed because
You have to be to
Yeah,
live.
yeah. Figure it.
Period.
It's like, how do I do this, Dad? Figure it out. It's cold.
well, I
creative.
laughed because they didn't even include Hawaii.
No, Hawaii's on there. It's
Oh,
like,
is it? I didn't
It's
see
like
it.
super light.
Oh, okay.
It's like you can barely see.
I didn't even see it. I thought they just didn't
It's
include
like,
Hawaii.
It's like the white zone.
This
would
is an
think
interesting
Hawaii-
thing. This is an interesting concept though, because like people who are looking for new creative minds could use the map and be like,
I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go
Let's see.
here.
Let's go. No, it's like let's go to Maine, look for talent. Like it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a talent scout. Like
I mean, you look up in that New England Northeast area, like that is just boom, super dark right now.
No, you want to go to Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado.
But those are bigger places. You'd have to search harder to find the people. You go to the
Oh,
smaller
that's not
places where it's more dense.
Colorado's pretty big.
Rocky Mountain High. You know, that song, it's a John Denver song. That takes on a whole new meaning now. Rocky Mountain
It
High.
definitely does. Something interesting that my friend's mother was telling me about is a lot of the medical marijuana companies are actually going public, so you can buy stock.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And since it's becoming more prevalent everywhere else, it kind of be smart to get stock in it.
Yeah.
Surprised Philip
You
Morris
don't want
hasn't
to-
jumped on top of that.
What's that?
Surprised Philip Morris hasn't jumped on top of that. Like, bought
Mhm.
Philip Morris is a
Right.
major cigarette.
Yeah. I know. I think it's with the election coming up this year. I think it's 5 more states are going to be voting on whether or not to legalize it recreationally.
Yeah. And I mean, if you do your research, and I was talking to her, and I was like, yeah, I'd like to come over one day and like sit down and chit chat and just kind of see what you found. She was like, sure, but with just how many states are now starting to be like, you know what? Maybe
Why
all-
not?
Maybe all those fucking 20-year sentences for nickel bags aren't that bad anymore.
Yeah.
Like, fuck out of here and suck 8 dicks.
I
Like,
thought you were about to say for Nickelback, and I'm like, no, those are
Yeah,
still
yeah.
bad.
Those Nickelback-
And if anything, they should be in there for life.
Look at this graph.
Jesus Christ.
But no, like they're starting to wise up on shit, and it's kind of
So
like.
maybe this was a bad idea.
But think about all the people that got busted for like dime bags and shit.
Oh,
and it's
absolutely.
like,
Well, I mean, Obama's just been setting those guys free like crazy lately.
So,
Yeah,
have you ever
Like
seen?
he did something like another like 100 the other week, like just like, all right, nope, these are stupid, you're out.
Like, have you ever seen the movie Blow? The Johnny Depp. He plays
Yeah,
He plays
yeah.
George Jung, who's a big coke dealer back in like the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the movie came out in 2000. So it was probably definitely more prevalent then than it is now because we're being more progressive. But it has like one last closing. There's titles at the end,
Mhm.
and it says, first, the average sentence for a first-time drug offender is longer than that of like a thief, like burglary, sexual assault,
Mm-hmm.
and all these different crimes. I think the only major one that wasn't on there was murder. So
yeah, because it was like fucking it was Reagan and the fucking war on drugs.
Yes,
More on
exactly.
drugs, yeah.
And then also one of the interesting things that I saw in a documentary was you would get more time for rock cocaine than you would powder cocaine, but the only thing you do is you add heat to it and
I was
you
about
add
to say,
baking
why
soda.
is that?
Because it was just one of those things like it was like rock cocaine is worse for everybody.
So it's punished harder.
Yeah, you could. I think for like a gram. I think it was like 5 years for every gram, as opposed to like
Jesus.
2 to 3 for regular cocaine. But yeah, rock cocaine, you get fucked.
Crack was whack though.
But that's the thing. Like, yeah, like
We here at Trophy Husbands do not endorse.
oh no, we definitely don't. But also, it goes back to socioeconomics because where was crack prevalent? Crack was prevalent in inner cities and poorer areas, as opposed to regular cocaine was just like
Cocaine was the rich man's.
Cocaine is a rich man's drug.
it was. I mean, they look at like shit like Studio 54. They were average. Like they had the giant fucking Coke spoon that was like a disco ball. Like this shit is groovy, dude. But if you got caught with rock cocaine, you know, you have a cellmate named Tiny that's gonna, you know, you gonna.
That ain't so tiny.
Yeah, you gonna eat your cornbread? Cause if not, you know, shit's gonna get hairy. Like, but that's the thing. Like, yeah, you said like rich man's drug, poor man's drug. They actually had fucking like advertisements for different ways to smoke and transport your cocaine safely. Like, do you? It just hurts my brain.
It was a different time. It was a different
It
time.
really was, but is it? But is it really that much different? Honestly,
I mean, we're not all like going to discos anymore. But
no.
like I don't wear platform shoes. I know a couple people do, but
I mean, I'm just saying, if there's a disco, like a solid disco, I'm in that bitch.
Marcus is like, I am John Travolting down there right
Hell,
now.
I'll go to
God.
Salvation Army and get a paisley suit on Wednesday.
Marcus is gonna put on his phone. He's just gonna hear the Bee Gees. He's like, you can tell that he's a wanted man.
Hell yeah!
God.
For the fucking Get Down, Miguel did a remake of this disco band's song Cadillac by they were Hot Chocolate, but I just put that on my phone. I got it anyway. Like, it's fantastic. But like think about think about the war on drugs in general. People have admitted that it's a fucking failure.
Oh, yeah.
They spend trillions of dollars.
It's one of the
wasting.
It's kind of like one of those useless trophy things. Like the war on drugs is a participation trophy to show that look at what we've done when you haven't done anything but waste people's time. Like if you're out there and you got like serious weight and you're fucking shit up, that's one thing. But but if you're caught with like a dime bag and then you catch a fucking dub, which is 20 years, which has happened to people, you know, you're like
You're messed for life.
yeah, you're fucked for life because you got busted with a dime bag, and I don't even smoke. And you guys can attest to me not smoking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this shit is fucked up. Yeah, like I don't dabble in shit, but I know when dumb is dumb.
Yes.
Like,
Dumb is dumb and dumb is dumb.
So we were talking about heroin earlier. You know, that's like you don't touch that shit. Like,
absolutely
keep
not.
it on- Yeah.
Stupid is a stupid is.
Well, that's the thing. Like heroin came out of fucking nowhere, and like you were saying, Baltimore.
Back in Maryland, where I'm from, like the area, my high school was called Heroin High
Oh my
back
God.
in the '80s because there were so many heroin deaths, overdosing, and then it's just spread like wildfire since.
Got that 2 for $20 WMD. What up? Oh shit! He's coming.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, man must have a code.
But on that note, I'm sweating my balls off, guys.
Yeah.
Let's
I
call it
need to
a
I need to breathe.
yeah. Let's call it an episode. I mean, I enjoyed the sauna, but you know.
Yeah.
Omar coming. Anyway, for those of you who have never watched The Wire, watch that shit. It's fantastic. Michael K. Williams, best character, pretty much out of the whole damn show.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I'm Marcus. You can find me on the good old Snapchatty. That's SIRMAV. Find me on your Twitter. That's QUEZMAV, and the same for the IG. QEZMAV.
I'm Luke. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at hook_Louver, and then Snapchat @HookLuver_no_. You can also find me passed out in a ditch on Sunday mornings, probably too, if you're looking. So
It's more like we found you and brought you to Greg's.
Something like that.
I'm Steve. I'll see you next week.
And I am Nick. You can find me on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram, all under nlenz42. That's NLENZ42. Don't forget to hit up the official Trophy Husbands Twitter @TheTrueTrophies. I think that's about it. So look for new episodes on Trophy Tuesdays. Everyone have a good week.